A Monday, a Tuesday, a Gronk day. Who better to have after a day of blockbuster trades than Rob Gronkowski, four-time Super Bowl champ? We're going to talk, run around the league, do a bunch of different things. We also have a YouTube star, Madden Content Creator, and fantasy football whiz, MMG, joining us. Big fan of him. Met him at the draft in Kansas City a couple years ago. We did a draft together with Gronkowski. Who's beating who in that league? We'll get into that, who you should be trying to get rid of, and what happens with, like, Garrett Wilson's value here? What happens to Aaron Rodgers' value here with Davante Adams? What should you do? How should you pull the trade? He's got you there. And what are we not giving love to? What are we underreacting to? Let's talk Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. What they're doing is incredible. Welcome to the show. What a day it was around the NFL yesterday. Hamilton, if you could do me this honor and just pop on quickly. And sort of just set the... I hear we have Kevin Durant on the show back this week. How did we weasel another interview with him?
Oh, he must like talking to you for some reason. Can't quite figure that one out. But yeah, he's going to be back. Got a lot of other big things coming up.
We do. Lots of big things coming up. MMG will be super, super fun. We're going to do a little prop-a-shot, I believe, right?
Yeah, we're running that back. It was a good week for both of you guys last week. And
I think we're dipping back into the parlay game this week, Ham.
Yeah, this is a, I don't want to spoil what's going, but this is a monster weekend. This might be the best slate of games that we have all year as far as like big impactful matchups. So I feel like we have to run a parlay back. Love
that. Let's do it. All right, let's take a look at the week 7. So how is it week 7? Everyone's always like, oh, okay, you're always talking about how fast the season goes. This is absolutely insane. Big-time matchups on the schedule. Sean Payton making his return to New Orleans. That'll be insane. I wish I was going. Broncos, 2.5-point favorites. And then we've got a bunch of heavyweight matchups on Sunday. Texans at Packers, 5-1 Texans, 2.5-point underdogs there. Undefeated Vikings, 2.5-point favorites over the Lions. And then the old 4 p.m. window, 3-3 Niners. 3-3. They're 1.5-point faves over the undefeated defending champion Chiefs. I'm sure that's going really well on the old Twitter sphere, Hammy. I'm sure that's going real well.
Yeah, I'm sure Chiefs fans are going to be super excited about that one. Can't wait to talk to a few of them tonight. BJ Kissel and the crew.
Cool,
I'm sure they're taking that. I'm sure they're taking that very, very well.
We did a thing about how the Ravens' offense is on a historical pace, like a true. And we showed a graphic. And it was just it's numbers. It's 1 + 1 = 2. Like it's like when that just like the second it like hits the airwave, the second it hits, Chiefs fans roar, just you can't fight City Hall. They're on a historic pace. They are the best. But it was me calling them the best team. But literally in the clip, I say, would I pick the Chiefs over the Ravens right now? Sure, I would in a head-to-head matchup and to win the Super Bowl and all of that. But that Chiefs fans can't be happy about that. You do so much with Kansas City. We'll get into that. Gronk's on the show. I wonder if he watched the Victoria's Secret runway show last night. I want to get the X's and O's. Really go to the tape with Gronk on that. I'm sure he's got takes.
I'm sure he does.
Kate Moss.
And I hear
anyone? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I hear his buddy Leif is just on a run right now. We got to get into that.
No, Leif is dead to me. D-E-D dead. Gronk, your boy Leif. I literally hit up your boy Leif, Gronk, and I say, I DM him. I don't DM any. I DM him and go, hey, congrats on all the success. Would love for you to literally does not respond. Like, I got Leifed by Leif.
So you actually DM Lath and he did not respond?
Did not respond, didn't look at... I saw he's
actual DM.
He's playing Travis freaking Kelce on a Hallmark Channel Lifetime movie?
Yeah, because he had to stop playing me because he wasn't jacked enough. So he has to play Travis Kelce now in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, Leif, there's no room for you on the Up and Adam show. Okay, wait, we got Gronk coming up. Let's get to some underreactions. Love that Gronk's on. Gronk's got a new podcast. He's everywhere. We're going to get into it. Hammy, Gronk, thank you. But let's get into, as we set up the Week 7 slate here, things that we aren't talking about. Obviously, Davante Adams is happening. Gronk will be great on that. But I want to talk about the Bills. They had a huge splash yesterday, too. They land Amari Cooper trade with the Browns. They counter Davante Adams' deal, and they swoop in before KC could even get their hands on him. Thank goodness. The Infinity Stone Gauntlet thing, can't help that happen. This is a big deal for Josh Allen, and that's what we should focus on here. We are sort of underreacting to what 17 is doing so far this season, and the fact this man who the indictment, the tattoo heard around the world about him was interceptions, not taking care of the ball, turning it over. He hasn't thrown a pick yet this year. Why aren't we talking about that? Talk shows. He has had his issues, as well documented, from 2021 to 2023. He threw 47 picks, 8 more than the next closest quarterback. That's a lot. Wow. This year, we're already 6 games in, and he's thrown over 150 passes, no picks. 8th quarterback in NFL history that's been able to do that. So where does this come from? How did this happen? We think we have an idea based on what Josh sat down and told me back at camp when it was 197 degrees. I asked him about Joe Brady and how Joe Brady impacts Josh's decision-making. Listen.
Making sure that, if 1 and 2 is not there, where's our third? Is it coming to the 1 and 2 where it's at? Understanding where our outlets are, and if it's not there, use the legs and get out. And we're trying to make scramble drill one of our best plays because we scramble a lot.
So it all sounds like, the impact that he's made is by simplifying things, which is a great thing. Keep it simple, stupid is a saying for a reason, right? He's putting the emphasis on getting through the progressions. And if there's nothing there, just get out of the pocket and find an open man downfield or book it yourself. So sometimes keeping it simple is the right move, especially if you have the talent and can do it like Josh can. If he can keep this energy the rest of the way, by the way, with the run game looking like it's looking, the depth that they appear to have with the running back situation, honestly, and sort of the #1 potential that Amari Cooper has, and this is a recipe to finally get Buffalo the elusive Super Bowl win. Wouldn't that be freaking cool? Them against, Chicago or the Vikings or the Eagles, the Lions, of course, the fave. MMG will be on the show touting them here in a minute. Sans Aiden Hitchinson. Let's see if he can do it. It's the matchup this week is, I do believe, against the Titans. I don't know what the odds are, but we can get you guys that if you want to go hang out over at FanDuel Sportsbook. There we go. There you have it. -8.5, guys. All right, interesting. I like the Bills. Next up, I want to talk the Chargers. They are off to a 3-2 start, okay? Harbaugh, the run game. Are we not underreacting to the defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, and this total turnaround on this defense, okay? Check this out. In Minter's first year as an NFL D coordinator, after following Jim over from Michigan, his squad, this is a first-year dude, okay? His squad is allowing 13.2 points per game. That is tops in the NFL. They ranked 24th there a year ago. They've also gone from 28th in total defense all the way to 6th, and they're getting their opponents off the field on 3 outs at the 2nd highest rate in the league, as you're seeing. Let's also take into account that this Chargers defense has been missing key players like Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel, Derwin James at points this year, and Minter somehow is able to keep it a go-win anyway. That's huge. We were at Chargers camp at the Bolt, beautiful new facility, new regime, new sayings and slogan and motivations from Jim Harbaugh. I asked Asante, soft-spoken Asante, about his new DC, and here's what he said.
Great. Coach Minter is a great guy, very smart, very passionate. He's very understanding, and he wants the best for his players, and he's want to put the players in the best position he can. He'll hear things out if we have a suggestion with a specific scheme or different coverage. He's just more open to hear what we have to say.
Are you seeing the theme that I'm building here on the show about coaches, coordinators, and sort of involving the players? It's nouveau. It's not old money. It is a progression. It's collaborative. It's evolution. It's a theme. It's a theme on the Ravens-y sort of squads, the input of players. And even though they're missing some of those guys, this is what's going on. The players' input on scheme, hearing that from Josh Allen at Bills camp with Joe Brady, hearing it with Monk, and hearing Luke Kuechly talk about it. Communication matters, and we love to see it. We'll see how the Chargers defense handles Kyler. Let's see the odds. They've got, I believe, the Cardinals this weekend. They do. But we're underreacting to Jesse Minter. Plus 1,100 odds to win the AFC West. That's not great. It's -2.5 the Chargers are. If you want to have fun over there. Let's put those in there. I usually have a paper with them on there. Sorry, guys. But go have fun on FanDuel Sports. But Gronk will be here to tout some stuff as well. Finally, I think we are underreacting to, Gronk will love this one, the continued success leveling up by Baker Mayfield in Tampa. I was impressed with what they did this weekend in New Orleans because hot starts are hot starts. Lots of teams have hot starts. They don't really matter. They're kind of fake, like breadcrumbing. They're love bombing to start the NFL season. This love bombing sesh could have fizzled out, right, and been ghosted and unraveled, and it's over. He threw 3 picks in a 4-drive span in the second quarter. That was brutal. But the resilience, the regrouping, the who gives an F, I'm going to get up and do it again. He then leads the Bucs to 51 points in a franchise 594 yards on the day. And let's listen and give some love to Baker Mayfield. And I would just love to know, like, what got you through that stretch?
Yeah, I've had some not so pretty games in the past, but I trust this group. And, you know, the most important play is always the next one. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter. You got to play the next one. And I'm surrounded by a group that, you know, allows me to have that confidence as well.
I know it sounds kind of trite and like what we would expect to hear from a quarterback, but you can sort of, can't you see it? Like, I can see the confidence. I can see the trust that Baker has in these guys. And we've seen those guys repay his trust in a way that I don't think he had at any of the other stops that he had in his career, and it's bringing out this level to his game. Look at this. Baker isn't just having one of the best seasons of his career, people. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I love to see it. He's leading the NFL with 15 touchdown passes, 3 more than the next closest guy, 2nd in passer rating to Joe Burrow, 4th in completion percentage. As good as he was last year, and he was great, and he earned that contract and had the confidence and didn't talk about it too much, there's a leveling up. There's another gear here in 2024. The Bucs are sitting there at 4-2. And we're not, somehow, they win a Super Bowl with Brady. The next year, we'll be able to talk about them. It's always about Brady. Talk about this team. Talk about this quarterback. And they have an opportunity Monday night. They get the Buck Aikman treatment, like national story. They've got the Ravens. Oh my gosh, visiting them. The Red Hot Ravens, both 4-2 squads, -3.5. What do you make of that? Let us know at Up and Adam Show. Let's get to the break here. Hammer's going to break down the Thursday night matchup. So let's do it. We're gonna have MMG on. We've got Gronk on, but a prop off is due here. Oh, what a fancy excusez-moi. Foncé, Hammy. Is Matthew Hamilton on the program?
Here we go. We're running back prop a shot. This was the scoreboard last week, going into that Niners-Seahawks Thursday night game. Here's the updated one. You guys both went 2-1. Both had a great night. Gronk really getting it going. Unfortunately, wasn't able to gain any ground because you were able to do it. But we'll keep it going here. We'll see if Gronk can close the gap here. Gronk, I'll start with you. Broncos Saints, Cortland Sutton, over or under 45.5 receiving yards in tomorrow night's game?
I mean, the Broncos aren't really known for throwing the ball and putting up a lot of stats in the receiving game. So I'm going to go with under 45.5 receiving yards for Cortland Sutton.
All right, Kay, your turn now. Alvin Kamara's line for rushing yards is at 71.5 yards. Does he go over or under that tonight? Or tomorrow night? Sorry.
Thursdays are so weeby and wobbly, Alvin. 71.5's a lot. I never go under. I'm going to go under because they haven't been using him like that. He's 66 rushing yards over the past 2 games combined. So we've got injuries, the O-line, Olave, Shaheed, they're on the injury report. I don't know. They're going to if there's one thing I believe, it's Sean Payton, Gronk, tell me what you think, sort of understanding how good Alvin is, who he talks about all the time. He's going to stack the box, and he's going to say, hey, Rattler, beat me with your arm.
Yeah, that's a good point, and actually that's why I'm going with the next pick, Hamilton. I'm sorry, I'm already jumping the gun to have Spencer Rattler to throw for more than a half a touchdown because Sean Payton will be stacking the box and make Spencer use that arm of his. And he didn't have a bad performance last week versus the Tampa Bay Bucs for his first game in the NFL. So Spencer Rattler is my next pick, over a half touchdown. Sorry, Hamilton.
All good, Gronk, do your thing. Kay, Bo Nix is also at half a touchdown for tonight. For tomorrow night? Does he go over or under that?
last 3 games, he's got 5 touchdowns. I feel like he's going to get better as the season goes on. Saints pass defense ranks 29th right now. Absolutely. This seems disrespectful for Bo. Like half a touchdown? Absolutely bang the over.
I like it. All right, Gronk. Anytime touchdown score for the Broncos in this game.
I'm going with Bo Nix. The guy loves to run the ball at the quarterback position, loves to scramble. He's going to get in the end zone. He's going to help me, start topping K and prop a shot. Comeback is on.
Gronk is, as the keeper of this game, if Bo Nix gets one on the ground, I'm giving you 2 points for that this week.
Oh, okay.
So you can close the gap
You're
a little
such
bit.
a good host,
appreciate that.
really. Go for it.
Anytime touchdown score for the Saints.
Okay, since I feel like I was mean to Alvin about yards, but I think he's going to really want to score one on our boy Sean. So I think, they use him in the passing game. He'll make an impact there, and he'll find his way to the end zone. I say Alvin will score. So let's say, to recap, Alvin Kamara under 71.5 rush yards. I just don't like that. He hasn't done it in a while. Although he could do that on one freaking play. So I don't know. I'm feeling iffy about that one. Bo Nix to throw at least 1 touchdown, of course. And Alvin Kamara as my anytime touchdown scorer. Gronk with Cortland Sutton under 45.5 receiving yards. Rattler, I don't even like saying Rattler. It just reminds me of snakes. I don't like it, but he'll score at least 1 touchdown. And Bo Nix as his anytime touchdown scorer. FanDuel, by the way, offering customers a 30% profit boost. We love this. 30% PBT to use on any wager for tomorrow night's Broncos-Saints game. This has been really popular with our viewers, with Gronk's fans, which is so fun to do on Thursday night. So this game, of course, tomorrow. Those are the props that we like, but you can build your own. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook, download the app. You can boost any bet you'd like. All it needs to have is minus 200 odds or longer for Thursday night football. Sean Payton Bowl. Okay. Broncos 2.5-point favorites on the road in this one. Gronk, who are you taking in Sean Payton's return?
It's going to be a good game. Sean Payton, I feel like, is going to get cheered at the beginning of the game, but once it starts, I feel like he's going to get booed, kind of like the similar situation when Tom Brady came back to Gillette Stadium. So there's going to be a lot of action in that department with the return. But it's a tough one. I mean, 2 so-so teams going at it. It's hard to pick these games in the NFL. These are the games you kind of stay away from in the betting department, I feel like, you know? But I'm going to go with the Broncos, though. I'm going to go with Sean Payton, because the Saints, they're what? They're 0-4. They're on the losing streak right now. They can't figure it out. They had it figured out the first 2 games. They can't figure it out lately, and I feel like they're just on that skid, and it's going to continue.
Momentum is definitely on Sean's side, right? I say all that matters is Sean in this game. And it really does come down to that. You can say all you want about the only thing I'm worried about with the Broncos is I just feel like when Coach Payton, emotions can be used to his advantage, but also his unraveling. So the key to the game, if we were like on the Fox pregame set, to me would be like, can he not overheat? Like, can he not be his own worst enemy? And I don't know. I'm worried about the emotions in that building because it's going to be a really big deal. I think it's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah, that definitely is a good point. And last week, he was kind of overheating already with his quarterback, Bo Nix. They were going after it. So he's got to stay calm. He's got to stay cool. He's got to stay collective. And I think they'll come out with the win then.
Didn't you like seeing him and Bo kind of – I liked that.
I do like that, and that just shows that, Bo's confidence out there, Bo's leadership as well. And just reviewing the play, we all think that Bo was in the right as well, when we reviewed and saw what the play call was and what he did. So it was cool to see, and it's cool to see that steam behind Bo as well. I mean, he's a guy that wants to win.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can do it on the road. Big, big game. I can't even imagine the bag of tricks Sean Payton has for this one. Going back to New Orleans where he won it all, and they're trying to chase it in the AFC West. We'll be back with Gronk after this, where we will make more picks. What you guys want to do?
Let's do it.
It's so true, though. Those Thursday night games are rough. Yeah, I would have just needed a direction on just a reminder that we're doing that there. Thank you, though. Thank you. Oh, this is huge. Is there a pen anywhere? Eric, thank you. Hey, Ham. Wait, I have like the print. I don't know the odds though. Like, make sure the odds are like in here maybe.
Gotcha.
On these games, especially when it's Gronk and we can go for it.
Gotcha.
I think the more of that, the better. What happened on that? Did you want me to tee you up or something, or was your mic down?
I thought you were throwing a break the way it was going.
Yeah.
Because you kind of started to.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thrown off, and then I saw the graphic pop up, and yeah, I messed that up.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I did go to break, and then I was like, oh wow, we have this, but I needed a reminder. But I wanted to make sure you don't want me to like.
Yeah, no.
I want you to just take it.
Yeah. No, I got you. That's on me.
No, I forgot. We were doing that at the bottom. Okay. We got to get Baker Mayfield on the show.
I know.
I want to get Baker. Is he playing in LA at all?
Good question.
I will like bang the drum for Baker Mayfield. He's maybe the most underreacted to storyline of the year, maybe?
True. He is playing in LA December 15th at Chargers.
Sunday?
Yes.
There's something there. Do you know what I mean about Sean Payton? With that, like,
yeah.
I don't know why I think that, but I just feel like this has been a game that has been circled from the day he left New Orleans, not even knowing where he was going. Just whenever I return here. And now he's like feeling himself because they've won 3.
Yeah.
But like it's not even about like the plan going in. It's that which is like meticulous and Mad Men vibes. But
yeah.
But then it's like just being in the place.
Yeah, when you step
but
out
there. But he could
there,
just dunk 50 on him.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Is there not a clock on this anymore? No.
The old world tight end, the 6'7" freak. You can call me the GOAT. Rob Gronkowski. Touchdown!
Oh my goodness.
Go.
Holy guacamole!
The greatest of all time, yo, they call me GOAT.
He is the GOAT. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer. Rob Gronkowski is here. We have so much to talk about, lots of fun. We talked to you last week, and it was sort of in the midst of what's going on, hurricane season, the ravaging of the eastern seaboard from Florida, Carolinas, Helene, Milton. And you were going through it, making sure, like, family was okay. And I could tell, without even talking to you, you were just sort of trying to piece together how you could help. And we didn't talk about it, but since then, I've noticed that you put together a GoFundMe to sort of help families, provide things for families critically affected, as if this isn't just a thing that's over in a week. And there's a QR code, everybody, that you guys can go here. I looked, and it's raised over $130K already, which is amazing. How can we help, and what made you want to do this?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Kay. I mean, I have a big presence in the Tampa area, obviously in the sports world, in the business world as well. My dad has a house down in St. Petersburg. My mom has a house in Fort Myers. Yes, she's inland enough so she doesn't get the storm surge, but she's affected by the wind. And she does house watches, so she's always, watching people's houses that were flooded, so she's affected in that way. So I just wanted to be able to raise some awareness, raise some funds for all the people that were severely affected by Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene. So I raised a GoFundMe. I put in the first $100,000 just to, start it off. And in about 10 more days, we're going to run it for, and then we're going to distribute the money, so they can build schools and provide food for the victims that were severely affected all throughout the Florida area. So if you want to be able to participate and donate and help out, you can go to my Instagram or my Twitter and find the link, or you can just scan the QR code right there. And it's on GoFundMe, so you can just go to Gronk's Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene Relief.
Amazing. And you kicked it off with a $100,000 donation of your own, which is unbelievable and not surprising, knowing how you are, always wanting to help people. So Gronk kicked it off. You can do 50 cents, $1, or find other ways to support. People are displaced. Animals are displaced. There's so much going on. So definitely hit this up for the Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton Relief Fund setup. It's a GoFundMe by Gronk. Please go do that. Amazing. We'll get into Tampa. You heard me talk about Baker. Baker's not getting enough love, huh?
Baker is getting plenty of love lately,
I knew
but
you were gonna
at the
say
same
that.
time, it's not enough because of the job that he's doing. I didn't even know that he was first in touchdowns this year until you just brought that up earlier in the show, which is impressive. And he should be first in touchdowns. He's got Chris Godwin. He's got Mike Evans, one of the best receivers in the history of the game. And this is his second year as well. So he's understanding how the team operates. He's understanding the chemistry of his players. He has a good core group. Yeah. And I'm just excited for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just have a great team. They got great players on the defense side of the ball that have, been there for a while. That's a solid core group as well. And on the offensive side, too. So it's just great to see.
Why are you taking away from Baker by talking about everything else? So what about Baker?
All right, Baker as well. What I love about his game is that he's kind of fearless out there in the pocket. Yeah. I mean, he's running around, scrambling, and when he's scrambling, he's not just sliding. He's running through tacklers, and in the Detroit game, he looked like Barry Sanders himself. Even though they lost that game, he did look pretty solid running the ball, and that's what I'm loving about him. Is that he's a dog out on the field right now.
Is that how you would describe Baker on your new podcast, Dudes on Dudes with Julian Edelman? And congratulations. What kind of a guy is Baker? A dog?
Yes, actually, Baker is a dog currently lately, but so Julian and I, we just started a brand new podcast, Dudes on Dudes, released our first episode yesterday. Another one is being released tomorrow. And then from here on out, every week, every Thursday, we're releasing a new episode, which is really cool. And we categorize players, and we're talking about a legend player that formerly played in the NFL, then a former player that we played with or played against, Julian and myself, and then we're talking about a current player as well. So we categorize them in 5 categories. If they are a freak, if they are a stud, if they are a dog, if they're a whiz, or if they're a dude's dude. So we did Baker Mayfield actually on our first episode. We shot that a couple weeks ago, so he's either a dog or a dude's dude. I forgot what one we put him in. What category we put him in?
I think you would say dude's dude. I don't know that you would say dog. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if dog is the first thing you'd say.
I would say dude's dude. He's been a dog lately in the quarterback pocket, but overall, I wouldn't say dog, just from his beginning of his career. But overall, lately, just hearing about him in Tampa, he's definitely been a dude's dude.
When is Tom coming on?
Well, we have no plans to have any guests on. And also, Julian is still mad at Tom because he has not been on his other podcast, Games with Names.
That's hilarious.
But all he does is comment on Instagram, but he won't come on as a guest. So hopefully, in Tom's busy schedule, which shout out to Tom. Congratulations to Tom for, owning a piece of the Raiders going through yesterday. Can you believe it? This isn't
even huge news. We've got the Davante, the Amari, and Tom just sneaks in there and he's like, "I'm now an owner. Hello, nice to meet you." What?
So do you think he has time to come on our podcast now?
He's never been on my show.
Now that he's the owner of an NFL team?
He's never been on my show, but I don't think I've ever asked.
He doesn't have time.
I don't think I'm not deluded enough to ask him to go on.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming on.
Yeah. Why? Wait, now you're making me want to try to get him on. Why? What's he so busy with? What's he got going on? Shooting hoops with Ruben? Get out of here.
Commentating on a game every week. He's yachting, owner of the Raiders now. He's got plenty going on, but he can always zoom in for 5 minutes. That's all, 5 minutes. But we need him on my podcast first.
In a real way, I'd ask you, what does he bring to the Raiders as an owner? When you look at him and the owner title, break that down for me. What do the Raiders get? The Raiders need some hope right now.
All right. Well, I necessarily don't know Tom's role as being an owner in the Raiders yet. I mean, it's going to probably come out what he's going to be doing, but just knowing what Tom brings to the table is just tremendous value. That's for sure. He understands the game inside and out. He understands how to prepare off the field in the meeting rooms. He understands how to prepare on the practice field, and he understands how to prepare his body to get ready week in and week out and stay healthy and be able to be available every single week. And just the knowledge of the game that he has too, and the presence that he has with the game of football, if he just goes in the locker room and he just displays that to the guys, it will eventually wear off and they'll be able to just elevate their game to another level.
It's so true. Mark Davis said that he'll be involved in finding all the Raiders have to do now. The Band-Aid's ripped with Davante. Like, you need to find a quarterback. I said it all day yesterday. That's Tom Telesco, their GM, Davis. And now Mark Davis did say that Tom's going to play a role in that he's going to be sort of evaluating who that quarterback should be. That's huge.
Well, that's a good point, and that's the truth. Tom knows talent better than anyone else. He knows how to evaluate a player. I remember just being one-on-one with him in meeting rooms, and he's going over the guys that are covering me, and he can break them down in literally 1 or 2 minutes to the T. He can tell you their skill set. He can tell you their weaknesses. He can tell you their strengths, and that's what Tom, brings big time, is just to the table, is just being able to know the skill set of a guy and what type of player he is and what, types of strengths and weaknesses that the guy has and what situations that this guy will, survive and thrive in as well.
I love that. What do you, when you were playing with Tom, whether it was in New England or in Tampa, did he care about what was going on that side of the building? Or was he so focused on your locker room and your part? Or did he like wander over there and care about how things were marketed, how things were, anything like that? Or was he like, how was he really?
No. When Tom was in the building playing football, all Tom cared about was the product that was out on the field. He only cared about going out there and being the best player that he could possibly be, when it's time to hit the field, when it's time to perform in the game. He didn't care about what others were saying about him. Never, ever. It didn't matter if it was all positive that week in the news about him or if it was all negative that week in the news about him. It never affected him in his preparation.
I think more like the business side. So when I look at Tom and being in part of the business side of this, I'm sure he wasn't really interested in that when he was playing ever. But now he is, because his whole life is business deals and whatever. When I look at Tom, I think it's one of the biggest things that he has that I wish I had, that I see in him without knowing. He really knows how to let go and delegate and trust. He just sort of will put this person, this person's going to help him with his PR, with Brady brand, with he is not micromanaging. He is just I'm going to let it go, surrounds himself, clearly picks the right people to be around him. And I wonder if that's the kind of effect that he'll have.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tom kind of learned that just through playing the game of football, that he knows he has to have a great team around him in order to, thrive. And Tom Brady is going to do what Tom Brady does. He's going to help that team that's around him thrive to the highest level as well. He's going to perform and do his job, but he knows what it takes to get to the highest level, and that's surrounding yourself with other talent as well. And that's what he has done, obviously, on the field when he was playing, and now he's done it off the field while he's playing too. And if Tom just puts in any effort like he did preparing for a game, even 10% of the effort, preparing for a game the way that he prepared week in and week out, he will be successful outside of football, and that's what he's been doing. He's been just rocking it in the booth for Fox. He's now the owner of the Raiders, part owner of the Raiders, and just everything he does it with purpose as well. Yeah. And that's what makes him so great, is that he cares what he's doing. Yes. And he's not going to take something on and not go full steam with it. And that's what makes him so great.
I think he wants to be a billionaire.
I mean, who doesn't want to be a billionaire, Kay?
And I like these moves that he's making. Speaking of moves being made, Tom gets in there, and on a day where Davante gets traded, all this news happens. It's sort of wild. The Bills get Amari Cooper. I don't really want to focus on that. It's sort of like lost its luster. We connected the dots, Davante, Jets, Aaron Rodgers, whatever. Everyone's talking to me about the chemistry. We had like the finishing each other's sentences. So when I think of that, and I've heard Luke Kuechly was saying it, everyone's saying it, I think of you. I think of you and Tom. I do think of you guys sort of finishing each other's sentences. The things that Davante says when he comes on the show, but I know it's going to go to my back show. I know where it's going. I've asked you what a big deal that is and how meaningful that'll be. What is like the pressure associated with being in this role with Davante? If you're being totally honest. Now, you went down to Tampa. You came to be this thing that sort of came into the locker room like, I know how Tom likes it. I have chemistry. We don't have to work on this. I know where it is. Everybody else pay attention. And you guys won a Super Bowl that year. But the pressure was on, but not really, because you guys had won 3 together already. With Davante, he's being tasked with going across the country to a 2-4 team with a bad offensive line, a 40-year-old quarterback people aren't believing in New York with that market and that fan base and that media thing. Like, what is the pressure of that?
Yeah, so myself, when I went down to Tampa, it's a totally different situation than Davante. I feel like Davante has pressure on him at a way higher level than I did when I went down to Tampa. Plus, Davante's going into the New York Jets to be the #1 wide receiver. Yes, they got Garrett Wilson, but they're putting that pressure on Davante to be that guy right away, and that he should be that guy right away, especially due to having that chemistry already with Aaron Rodgers when they were with the Packers together. When I went down to Tampa Bay, we had Chris Godwin there. We had Mike Evans. Leonard Fournette we picked up as well. I was kind of the fourth option. I was kind of there to be the role model to Tom Brady on how to understand him and go out there and practice the way that he practices and help unify the team. So it wasn't like, hey, Gronk, you're going to be the #1 guy. It was like, hey, just make a couple catches whenever the ball comes to you and block some guys. And I took on that role perfectly, and we won a championship, which was awesome because we had great players around us. But in New York, Davante Adams, pressure through the roof. Biggest city in the world. Media attention through the roof. I mean, he better perform or else him and Rodgers are going to feel it. And Rodgers, happy camper now. He got Lazard. He's got Nathaniel Hackett there, who he wanted. He's got his #1 guy now with Davante Adams. They got their schedules kind of easing up a little bit, so do not count them out. Do not count them out. I can see them winning some games and possibly sneaking into the playoffs as a wild card.
Possibly, or will you put your name on that right now? Everything is this
I would
a playoff
put my name
team?
on it. Is that if they do make the playoffs, well, they will make the playoffs, I feel like, but they'll sneak in as a wild card. But they're not a threat in the playoffs. I feel like wild card game they might win and then be knocked out in the second round or something. I mean, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders because, you know, that offensive line needs to be fixed, and you really can't fix an offensive line in mid-season like that. But I feel like they do sneak into the playoffs, especially due to a weaker, you know, AFC East division.
All right, we're going to take a short break here. Gronk, you're going to stay through the break. I'm going to introduce you to somebody who you're kicking their ass. So it's going to be happy for you. We'll be back after this on the Up and Adam Show. MMG coming up next. I need a second. Give me 1 second. Gronk, did you watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show?
Actually, yes, I did.
What'd you think?
Camille went there yesterday, so I had to check it out.
What'd you think?
Yeah, she was invited, so she went. It was cool. What really makes the show is the performers. The performers,
Tyler.
big time. I mean, they do an excellent job, and it makes, like, the girls that are walking the runway, the Victoria's Secret models, like, get in the feel because of the performers.
Have you ever walked down a runway in a serious way?
I never done. I did it one time at like a little tiny show at a mall, like literally 12 years ago, and like I just acted. I was 22 years old, so I just acted outrageous. Like your shirt was off by the end of the runway, that kind of you're pulling kisses. No. Yeah, I was unbuttoning it by the time I was halfway down.
Why haven't? Is it not something you're interested in? It looks hard. It looks terrifying. It looks hard.
What's that?
Walking down a runway.
Oh, I mean, I would walk down a runway if I was, you know, if the situation was right. I mean, I could care less. You think I got shame? No,
I don't. I just think I'm surprised. No. We were talking about it in the morning meeting. I'm surprised you've never walked down a runway.
No, I never really have.
Camille could have a walk-off. She'd kick your ass.
They tried to get me to do it, but
really?
She wouldn't let me. Sports Illustrated wanted me to walk down at the Miami one, and she said no because she knew I would be over the top. That's why. She goes, no, you're gonna be over the top, and I was like, of course, that's why they want me.
And she said, absolutely not. I love that for her. Okay, we're gonna bring in MMG. Oh, sorry, never mind. We're gonna take a minute break here. We're gonna reset. Can we slate? Okay, perfect. We'll be right back, Gronk.
Scepter. Look at that.
Thank you, sir.
The pocket square, the mustache.
I already had it. They didn't want me to win.
Look at that.
I had a dream like this once.
It's the same. It was a nightmare.
It's like the worst speed. It's the worst speed.
My next guest, the most valuable drafter. There he is, MMG, YouTube, Madden extraordinaire, my favorite person. Go at it, you two. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
MMG, what's up, man?
Gronk, it's great to meet you again, I suppose. We were both on the draft, huh?
Yeah, pleasure to meet you, man. You won the ultimate fantasy draft. So my question is, how is your team doing this year since you won that, since you won the best team, when drafting?
Dude, it's so ironic that this was the best team because I just saw a stat recently. It was 15%, like the highest percentage of losing fantasy football teams that have won no games. They had round one, pick one. They took Christian McCaffrey just like I did. That's like the number one indicator that you suck at fantasy is if you took Christian McCaffrey.
I mean, Gronk, you're kicking his butt.
So it was just all.
Gronk, you're winning.
I
Look
am
at that.
kicking his butt. I would say Christian McCaffrey's not really doing much for him. So if we were playing week in and week out, I'm sure he would have traded out Christian McCaffrey and put in another running back and wouldn't have 0 points in that category, and it would be a closer game. But I am whooping your butt, MMA. It's like you're kind of like that preseason team where they're destined to win the Super Bowl and they have all the hype. Like the Philadelphia Eagles dream team in like 2013. They're going to win it all. They got everyone, and look at they just crashed. That was you with the ultimate fantasy draft.
Gronk's getting vaporized somehow. I don't know what quite is happening. Gronk, is Leif pranking you or something? Is this a Leif thing? What's happening with you? Do you see yourself?
There must be there's ghosts somewhere. It's like there's ghosts in here. Hey, I'm back.
I think there needs to be some kind of a bet here. I think if MMG beats you somehow miraculously by the end of the season, I think MMG deserves a Fox shout-out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
But I don't get a waiver wire. Like, let me get Jordan Mason in there.
Yeah,
let me get CMC out.
And we'll talk. Gronk, would you do that if MMG somehow can turn this around without McCaffrey? Will you give him a little Fox shout-out?
I would 100% give him a Fox shout-out.
Don't do it, Gronk.
If he can pull it off, there's like a 1% chance of that happening.
Can I
Jamar
tell you?
does look
It's
good,
not going to happen.
MMG, you know what happened a couple of minutes ago? Gronk said that, I see the Barry Sanders jersey, and you're a huge Lions fan, of course. Michigan State's party on the whole thing. Gronk said that Baker Mayfield looks like Barry Sanders.
I heard it.
What do you make of that?
Dude, he's so good right now. He is. He's incredible right now.
Oh, hold on. He had a run that looked like Barry Sanders when they were playing the Detroit Lions this year. That's all. He doesn't look like Barry Sanders. He had a run that looked like Barry Sanders.
I think that was the funniest thing maybe Gronk said in a long time, which I love. And Gronk, you know, you have Lath to go deal with, so we'll let you go. And we're going to talk. Who did the Lions got this week, by the way? Who did the Lions have? Lions have the Vikings. Vikings.
Oh, yikes. That's actually scarier than I thought it would be.
Gronk picked that game for me. It's in Minnesota. That's a great game. Early one on Fox. Pick it.
Oh, that is a good one. Oh.
-2.5.
Oh, man. I'm going with the Lions. I just love Coach Dan Campbell so much, and I loved his play designs last week with all the offensive linemen. You gotta give him some credit for that. Dan Campbell's the ultimate football guy. I wish I could play for Dan Campbell, but unfortunately, I'm not coming back to the NFL, so that would never happen. But I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
All right. See, look at how happy you made MMG. We love that. All right, Gronk, you're the best. Please go donate to the Hurricane Relief GoFundMe that Gronk has set up because he is amazing. And now, let's, bye, Gronk. Let's continue to hang with Mr. 3 million subscribers on YouTube. And let's get serious. You know, this McCaffrey thing, it sucks for everybody. It's not just you.
It sucks for everybody.
Yeah, you're a man of the people. You're like people who drafted him. Here's the weird part now. And you're a fantasy expert, so let's get into this. Like, people aren't dropping him. They're holding out. They're hoarding him. They're holding out hope that, like, he'll come back to them somehow. What do you do week 6 to find a trade partner? How do you handle McCaffrey? Keep him, stash him? What do you do?
If at this point you didn't get Jordan Mason, you are in a lot of trouble. Like, Jordan Mason should have been the first waiver wire pickup you made when you saw CMC. But it reminds me a lot of that second or third year he was on Carolina. He had that spectacular year. Everyone thinks he's bulletproof. He can't be injured. You draft CMC round 1, pick 1. He gets injured. And then he comes back. He kind of proved us all wrong. Wait a minute, maybe he can stay healthy. And then this happens again. The good thing is Jordan Mason is doing spectacular. So if you're at a point right now where you haven't picked up Jordan Mason, you're one of those 0-6 teams, it might be time to just throw in the towel. Get ready for your fantasy punishment.
You have fantasy punishment. If you have Jordan Mason, are you dropping Christian? What are you doing with Christian?
Oh, no, you cannot drop Christian McCaffrey. He will come back, absolutely. No. They're holding him to have serious usage late in the season. You don't think?
No, I think he's done for the year.
No way.
Yeah, I think
for the year.
Done. I do. Maybe for the playoffs.
I would be so shocked.
Pull in Aiden Hutchinson, sorry to bring it up, but maybe he'll come back in meaningful games for the team, not for your fantasy team. I don't know. I would trade him. I would definitely. I'd go over to the Niners fan in your draft.
Yeah, you'd have to fleece somebody then. You'd have to really fleece somebody.
Are you? I take it since you're so good at fantasy football, you're a great fleecer of people. Is that true?
I actually don't trade. I absolutely refuse. I'm the worst person in the league to send a trade to.
What do you mean?
I do or die by my team. I would rather watch my opponents fail than me succeed. I cannot trade a player. If I trade a player and they do well, it's the worst day of my life. I can't do it.
See, I don't trade out of laziness. You don't do it out of loyalty. Very interesting. You're a loyal guy.
And that was, and I could have traded, I think I took Bijan in the first round and Garrett Wilson in the second round in like my main league this year. And both of them struggled at the start. And now Garrett Wilson potentially getting moved to the slot. That's kind of scary. Still not trading him.
What do you make of Garrett Wilson? What do you, I mean, I think he's about to go off.
Yeah, that's if I'm coping because I want him to play really well for my fantasy team. Davante Adams becomes wide receiver 1. Yeah. Garrett Wilson was always kind of an undersized wide receiver 1. I don't really think he was ever built for that position. You know, he was built to be a slot wide receiver. So if Davante can take CB1 and you can move Garrett Wilson to the slot, I do think he performs better, but he's not getting 23 targets like he got. I mean, that was a beautiful thing to wake up to see Garrett Wilson got 23 targets in London or wherever that game was played. But that's not going to happen again. But I do think he'll be more open in the slot. So maybe more touchdowns, less targets. That's the best case scenario if you got Garrett Wilson in a fantasy team.
Why didn't you wear a suit today?
Dude, you know how early this is for me?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. I'm not built like that.
No, don't show this horrifying photo. Oh, this is very upsetting.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered what I posted. You would have said that.
That's not
true.
That
is a great photo.
Don't you understand the rules here? Don't you think you're supposed to come up to me and say, hey, are you cool if I post this on my grid? A grid photo without approval is reckless.
Ask for permission. No, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Ask for input. Collaborate. I don't know what kind of relationship this is. You're just making like single-handed decisions, MMG. Okay, so we talked about Adams. I want to talk about your Lions. I can't imagine. I have so many questions. First of all, they're crushing it. Everybody's on board. Are you the kind of fan that enjoys the bandwagon jumpers. Like, I had Flava Flav on my show the other day, and Flav was like, I'm all in on the Lions. Spice Adams, former Bears, like, I love the Lions. And I'm like, really? Are you for that, or are you like, get out of here, you don't belong, you didn't go through the bad times with us?
Normally, I would not be on board, but being in Ford Field this year and last year, it was deafening. I've never been in Arrowhead Stadium. I have to imagine it was on par. It was so loud in Ford Field. So if we can keep up that kind of energy, we have those diehard fans filling the stadium every single time. Whether they join the bandwagon this year or they started 30 years ago, I don't care. Let's just keep bringing that energy. I think it gets scary when your bandwagon fans don't actually care about football. And I hate to like call out SoFi, but I've been in SoFi a few times where you think it's an away game. I went to the Chargers-Lions game last year, 41-38, spectacular game. You'd have thought that was a Lions home game.
Yeah.
That's how crazy the stadium was like that. So long as we keep packing the stadium and people care about football, it's going to be awesome.
Do you feel like it's different this year? I was talking to, I know we'll talk about Aiden and that whole in a second, but I was talking to him and I talked to Kirby. I was like, does it feel different? Does it feel like you'll get there and win it? And they were giving, there's like no hole to poke in this team outside of the loss of Aiden.
Yeah, it does feel like we're going to get there. I 100% believe we're going to the Super Bowl.
Really?
I'll be delusional all I want, but absolutely. Yeah, I think last year was like, okay, the Lions have a good regular season record. That's actually not that difficult. We need to see some playoff success. And then we saw serious playoff success. You get past Los Angeles, you get past Tampa Bay, and you had an excellent shot to get past San Fran. Things didn't go our way. That's okay. But we really believe absolutely that we can run it all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
If you're the GM, if you're the front office, ownership, Jared, all of them collaborating together, how do we fix this Aiden situation? Huge bummer. We love Aiden. What move are you making to get this team to the Super Bowl they so deserve?
If I'm playing Madden, apparently Max Crosby wants to come over to Detroit. I heard some rumors about that, but it just wouldn't make sense. You let Aiden Hutchinson heal up, and frankly, I think this team, with or without Aiden Hutchinson, can succeed. Of course, we want him back. He really is one of the best defensive players in football, even as young as he is. Mm-hmm. But, gosh, you can't really make a move like this. Supposedly, too, it's a broken tib fib, which it looked horrible. I'm sure a lot of people saw the video. But this, if it's a clean snap, can be a very recoverable injury. This is very similar to what happened to Adrian Peterson. The following season, Adrian Peterson, he won MVP. And that's a running back. That's a position that many people believe you can't recover from the injury. So I think Aiden Hutchinson can come back super strong. Realistically, we can't do anything. There's no way we go for Max Crosby. I would love to go for him, but we just can't do that.
Why can't you?
Literally, I bet you we could. I just don't think it's a good call.
There's some cap space there to play with. You don't think it's a good call because what? You don't feel like having Max Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson for years to come together?
That's a great point. You know what? Fine. You've convinced me. Well, let's bring Max Crosby over. We'll have him come off one edge, Aiden Hutchinson come off the other, and we'll win multiple Super Bowls.
And there we go. And we've solved the problem of Aiden Hutchinson. We'll be back on the TV side in just a second. All right, we're still with MMG. Just talking Madden. There's nothing I love more than Madden. I've never played. I've never seen the video game, I don't think. You're a true master. I want to know who, if you're giving a speech in 20 years, a career achievement speech about your illustrious Madden career, who's getting the biggest thank you? Like, who's the person that introduced you that gets the most credit?
Oh, you mean like in my personal life or like a Madden player?
No, like you're saying thank you for bringing Madden into my life all those years ago.
I would say thank you to Madden Mobile. You ever heard of that game?
Nope.
It was Madden on your phone. I didn't even like football. I played soccer. I didn't even like the sport. But Madden Mobile was the best game ever. Everybody and their mother played that game. This is like 12 years ago.
Okay.
So I played that game religiously. When I was 14, I would like run these little robot devices to play the game all day to farm the coins in the game. And then I'd sell the coins to people for real life money. So that was my job when I was like 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I made a YouTube channel off of it to try to sell more coins. And then that just worked out. So then I was like, you know what? I got to know ball now. I got to go figure out about football. They were pretty mad at me for pronouncing every player's name wrong, which gets pretty difficult, as you know. So
which NFL players have you played against?
I think one of the best games I played was a Tyreek Hill, and he's a pretty big gamer. He plays a lot of video games. He's pretty good too. And that was a fun one.
And you guys talk to each. What is it like to play against Tyreek Hill? I can't imagine.
Well, it's really fun. You know, some guys, they take the game not so seriously. And some guys, you know, you have to imagine when you get to a level like the NFL, you're just competitive in everything in your everyday life. So I played guys where like they don't speak. They don't want to hear it. Nothing's fun. There's no smiling. There's no joking. It's business. And, that's not how I play, but it is kind of funny. So Tyreek wasn't like that. Tyreek was really fun.
Is there someone famous that you've played that that you made rage quit on you?
Oh, I actually rage quit against Micah Parsons. I think he beat me so bad I lost the footage. You'll never see it. Dude, I never said I was good. I just play. That dude is good. I'm not kidding.
He's better.
Yeah, I had this whole video cooked up. I want to see him play Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is really good. So is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's really, really good too.
Okay, no, but who's the best?
Those three.
Give a take here. You're on television. Give a take. Who's the best NFL Madden player?
Kyler Murray. It's
Kyler Murray. But he didn't make you rage quit. Why did Micah? What did Micah do?
I haven't played Kyler, but I know Kyler beat Micah. So that's where I'm at with it.
That's good logic there.
Ipso facto.
I learned what rage quitting was 10 seconds ago. So I'm glad that I.
You're dating yourself. Okay.
Shut up. We'll be back one time. We're getting back on TV. All right, back on Up and Adams with MMG. We're talking a little Madden, a little rage quitting. Rage quitting isn't common knowledge. It has nothing to do with generational stuff. Like rage quitting is a video game reference, right?
You know what? You're right. It is a video game reference.
Yeah, I know Duck Hunt. How about like Zelda?
That's a great game. That's a great game.
I'm trying to think of other. RC Pro-Am, Excite Bike. Ever heard of it? No.
Good Lord.
You're
I think that came out when I was born.
Punch Out.
Actually, great game. Great game.
You know Punch Out. Which list? What list are we? Oh, yeah. Here's what we want to do with you. Yes. Here's the deal. You know the ins and outs of Madden. I clearly do not. I'm going to name a position. I want you to tell me who the most overpowered player in Madden history at that position is. Are you ready?
I am.
I want quarterback.
Michael Vick.
Why?
Because he was the first to revolutionize scrambling, and they needed to like show that in the game. You couldn't do anything. It was completely pointless. If you loaded up as I think it was the 04. Okay. 04 Michael Vick, Atlanta Falcons, game over.
We have 30 seconds. Won. Running back.
Barry Sanders.
Why? Quickly.
The GOAT.
Okay. Wide receiver.
Randy Moss. The GOAT.
Okay, all goats. And tight end.
Gronk.
Really?
Not biased. He actually is. Yeah, he's insane.
Not biased. And I thought you were going to say Baker Mayfield for quarterback or running back since he's the best thing that's ever happened. Anything you want to promote? Like, promote your YouTube page. Not like you need it, Matthew.
No, I'm just really happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the show, and it's been a blast. This was really fun.
Give me one fantasy sleeper on your way out. One fantasy sleeper.
I have no idea, bro.
I have no idea. Okay, next time. Mwah. Love ya. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.